Hello, Facebook fans, YouTube fans, DX Engineering. It is fall time, October, and it is time to rock the HF bands. And there's lots of activity on VHF and even UHF these days with FT8 going higher and higher and higher, and Mesh-tastic on 900 megs. Today we have Tommy here with the DX Engineering Tuesday group. Tommy is with the DX Engineering sales and support team. Hello, Tommy.
Hello, Tim, and everybody else.
And all the way from Houston, Texas, where it's a little warmer in Texas. But before we get into radios and such, I mean, the weather has been very nice down in Houston. And so far, so good with storms this year, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty pleasant so far this summer. And, of course, summer's coming to an end. And luckily, we have had no hurricanes and no predictions of any here in the near future. So hopefully it'll hold true.
Well, that's good for antennas because hopefully the antennas are not blowing down. Antennas are staying up, and it is time to put up new antennas. But let's talk about some of the new radios, some of the new Yaesu radios, the Optima, so forth. What are customers telling you about some of these new radios?
They're loving them. Actually, we've been selling a lot of accessories for them. Actually, this morning I had a individual calling about a cable for his Yaesu FTX Optima, and he was wanting to connect it to an amplifier, and we were able to provide him with a cable to go from the Optima to his amplifier. So it went pretty smooth.
Yeah, and that can make a big difference, going from 100 watts up to maybe a kilowatt or even a little bit more to the 1500 watt max. But what are some of the things when you're thinking about, adding an amplifier like that, Tommy? What are some of the things that, amateur radio operators need to be concerned about when they're putting an amplifier in? That's a big deal.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal. You want to basically make sure you have all the right connections, all the cables and everything's in place, especially if you have BCD control and all that, because if you want the amplifier to follow the transceiver whenever you're changing frequencies and bands, you want to make sure it all works together.
How about AC power, Tommy? Let's talk about 240, 120, what's the deal there?
Right. So like a lot of our ACOM amplifiers, we have it in normally 3 versions. You can get it without a plug, which will work on either 120 or 240. We have some of the ACOMs with the 120 plug. We have them with the 240 plug. So they're, you can pretty much get it any way you want it or need it.
Yeah, and I think it's real important. I know you advise customers about this. If you're doing, a 500 or 600 watt amplifier, you can get away with 120 volts.
Right.
But man, when you're going to go above 600 watts, you really got to go to 240.
Yeah, you really want to go to 240 because you're pulling that much more amperage out of the amplifier with the 120, and it just works a lot smoother and a lot safer with 240.
What about coax cables when it comes time, with an amplifier and so forth, and the connectors and even the antenna? If we're going to use the amplifier on FT8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like if you're going from the transceiver to the amplifier, you can use a pretty decent cable. I normally recommend, if it's a short run, to RG8X from the transceiver to the amplifier, or in some cases RG213. It depends on what the customer wants, but when you get beyond the amplifier, you really want to upgrade your coax due to FT8 being a 100% duty cycle mode, and you want it to be able to handle the power, and you also need to take into consideration the length going to the antenna.
What about antennas that are kind of on the edge? And when I talk about antennas that are on the edge, the end-fed half wave, for instance, or in any antenna where you might have RF in the shack, and now you want to add an amplifier.
Right.
What's good advice there, Tommy?
What you really want to do is test the amplifier first, make sure to see if you're actually getting RF into the shack. If you are, you want to make sure to be able to add either some ferrite beads or a choke or something like that to keep that from happening.
And if somebody's getting bit on the mic, or some of the metal around the radio is hot with RF, those are signs that you really need to take a look at that. But of course, advice of, well, Tommy, I only have a certain amount of money, and should I spend the money on the antenna, or should I spend money on an amplifier?
Well, it really depends. The way I've dealt with the situation is the antenna is the biggest part of your station. The better tuned the antenna is, the higher it is, the more resonant it is. It's really the biggest part. Now, if you find you need the power, then go ahead with an amplifier. Just take into consideration how much power you need, what voltage you have to run the amplifier in the shack, and so on.
And there's a lot of great DXpeditions coming up where antennas and amplifiers are really important. Most of them will do FT8. Some of them will do, SSB and CW, things like that. One of my favorite websites to look at, and I know you look at this too, Tommy, is dxworld.net.
Yes, sir.
And it's really easy to get there. It's dx-world.net. And there's some familiar folks here doing, the support work, DX Engineering and ACOM. You can find out a lot about what's going on if you're collecting countries. And they have this really nice monthly locator of, looks like there's a server with that at the moment, but you can get a lot of information about DXpeditions here, Tommy.
Yes, sir. You sure can.
And that can help you, plan when you want to be on the air. And I think the guys in Bhutan may be wrapping up tomorrow. Alpha 52 Golf. Some really cool places that are coming on the air, that are currently on the air. Tommy, I was reading about X-Ray Tango 2 Alpha Whiskey, and he got when he got to the country to operate, they confiscated his equipment.
That can happen. Yep.
But he's got it back now, and he's on the air. So you never know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
The Echo 51 Mike Whiskey Alpha on North Cook Islands, DX Engineering is doing a lot of support. There's a lot of youth involved in the E51 MWA. There's also a youth group going down to Papa Juliet 6. So lots of things, to get on the air and work, guys. Are you hearing any buzz on the repeaters down there in Houston? Anybody getting excited about the HF season?
Not yet. Not that I've heard here lately. I have heard a couple of stations getting on the air and announcing that they can hear so-and-so on this frequency and band, and they're using this mode and what have you. But it's not ramped up yet, but I have a feeling it's going to.
Yeah, I mean, and conditions are not great every day, but we're still right hanging in there on the sunspot cycle. So, I think every day you never know what you're going to get. Let's take a look at the chat room here, Tommy. We got Jacob on Alpha India 5 X-Ray Radio in North Texas.
Hello,
and
Jacob.
Lou from West Virginia, Kilo Tango 1 Radio. We have Rodney on from DFW from Alpha Echo 5 Tango X-Ray. Our friend Mike, we had Mike, who is a POTA expert. He was on Friday, Tommy. We had a real nice conversation with Mike. Kilo Golf 2, Mike. He's down in Jacksonville, Florida. And from the UK, it's Mike 0 Delta Sierra Kilo. From Mexico, X-Ray Echo 2 Zulu. And from the Netherlands, Papa Delta 9 Fox Echo Radio. And Jacob says it's 92 degrees in North Texas. How hot is it in Houston, Tommy?
Right now, it's right around 87, 88 degrees and partly cloudy.
Yeah, that's really nice weather. Hello from Pennsylvania. It's Kilo 3 Charlie United. And of course, this weekend, Tommy, is the Pennsylvania QSO party. So there'll be a lot of activity from Pennsylvania. Donnie's on with us. Kilo 4 Echo Kilo in Tennessee. And we've got Whiskey 4 Whiskey Alpha Golf. And he's in southern New Jersey. And Terry says, please share the name of the DXpedition website. That's dx.world, or dx-world.net, dx-world.net. And Larry's on with us, Kilo Bravo 0 Sierra Queen Whiskey. And Marvin in Virginia is Kilo India 4 Queen X-Ray. And from Central New York, it's Greg, Whiskey Bravo 2, Yankee Zulu Golf. Jim is on from Georgia, Whiskey United 5 Echo. And Jacob says, question, I have a 991 I use for 2 meters, about to hook up an 85-watt amplifier. And can I get away with RG8X from the radio to the amp? It'll be very short, about 2 feet, maybe 3 to the radio. What do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, he should be able to get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, the distance is so short, and of course, it would be less loss to use RG213, but in a couple of feet, it's not going to make a big difference.
Yes.
Mike is on Whiskey 8 Hotel Bravo, and Terry says, "Thank you. I heard your response." Tommy, you talked about one of the customers adding an amplifier today. What else are you hearing from customers right now that's hot off the press?
Well, probably about the biggest thing that we're hearing about right now is the new ICOM IC7300 Mark II. They are very anxious to get their hands on that radio. We are taking reservations for them right now, but we're not exactly sure when it's going to be out or what the price is going to be. But that's one of the hottest things going right now.
Yeah, certainly. Sometime in 2026, I know that's what we're going to, what ICOM is saying, sometime in 2026, and not sure on the price yet, but boy, the feature set looks really good. And, already the IC7300 is phenomenal in the feature set that it's got.
Yes,
and certainly if you've been thinking about one, you can still we have plenty of 7300s. And, when the Mark II comes out, we're not sure yet. We had Ray on last week, N9JA from ICOM America, and he still doesn't have any information on that. But we know when he does that he'll let us know, and then we can tell the customers. And it's always good to get a reservation so you're in line when it comes to the back orders, right, Tommy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely get in line. If you're looking to purchase one, that's the best thing to do is go ahead and place a reservation in for it, because we never know exactly how many we're going to get in first off.
Right. And a couple of other things here. Jacob says he's going to be running over 400 from the amp out to the antenna. Maybe that's DXE 400 Max.
Yeah,
that would be a good feed line for that, low loss on 2 meters, and then we've got our friend Scott. That's with 1T. Scott grew up very close to where I live. KA3 Denmark radio from the central coast of California now, and Jacob says it'll be LMR 400 from the amp to the antenna. LMR 400, DX Engineering 400, very similar coax.
very similar.
Very similar. The DXE is our house brand for that, and works very well. And lots of success stories with that. Tommy, thanks so much for coming on today. It's always great to have you bring the customer experience and your experience, and we're so grateful to have you as part of the DX Engineering team.
Well, thank you, Tim. Thanks for having me again, and we look forward to the next time.
All right, and if we can help you, call into the 800 number and ask for Tommy or Guy or TJ or Michael or Troy, any one of the guys. Bobby out on the West Coast, he'll help you out as well. We're just so proud of the entire team that we've got, and we're standing by ready to help you either on email, via text, or phone calls on the 800 number. We're standing by. Operators are standing by. So I hope all of you had a fun time today on the show, and you got something out of it. If you have questions, let us know, and we'll see you next time here at DX Engineering. Until then, 73.
73, everybody.